To get us started, I've invited local business person Harold Webster of Triple Dipples to briefly share his story as it relates to today's topic of social media for business. So Harold, take it away.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Just wanted to share a little bit with you as it relates to this topic. We do all of our advertising through social media. As a matter of fact, we don't pay for any advertising through newspapers, through any type of radio, television, billboards, none of that. All of our social media is our advertising, and it's worked out great for us. For the most part, one thing that I really, really enjoy about it is that it's free. We don't have to pay for anything with Facebook in particular, with Snapchat, with Instagram, with Twitter, with any of those. We can just simply upload our pictures and leave a blurb with our hashtags, and that's it. The communication between customers has been great. I can interact with them immediately after a post takes place. And then one of the things that we started doing during quarantine, which has been a lot of fun, we started doing TikTok videos. And initially, it wasn't for advertising. It was simply because we were bored. We had nothing else to do, and we decided to go ahead and make these videos. We came up with a couple of what we thought were funny ideas and posted them out there. We took a risk and just put them out there for everybody else, hoping to bring laughter to some other households. And before I knew it, people were telling me, "Hey, I saw your commercial. I really enjoyed your commercial." And I was trying to figure out what commercials people were talking about, and then they mentioned TikTok, and I was blown away by the response of the TikTok videos. And again, another free source that we weren't using as commercials, but we were just having fun with, and certain people latched onto that, and it became a huge thing. And then next thing I know, people were asking for the next videos. We had people from Chicago, as far north as Chicago and as far south as St. Louis, coming 2 hours away simply because they saw the video. And they're like, "Hey, we saw your videos. We had to come check you out." And of course, it came in a great time because everybody is stuck at home and everybody wants to go and do something. And as a result of that, we just happened to fall right into that. So social media has been great for us as far as advertising goes, as far as just getting our name out there. It started off really small, and I was really excited when we had 20 followers, and now we're over 5,000. So it's been a great thing for me.
Okay, thanks so much for sharing.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on that. It sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Oops. Okay, I'd now like to introduce today's speaker, Marcy Goodwin. Marcy is the owner of Leverage Social. She specializes in teaching small local businesses how to effectively utilize social media marketing. Marcy Goodwin, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much, Catherine, for having me, and thank you to the library. And I love the fact that you get to utilize these Google grants. I've heard of them, and this is the first time I've actually seen them in action. And I think it's a wonderful thing for the community, and especially for my love of small business. So I just love what you're doing. The last week, if you guys didn't see it with Ross Miller, that was an awesome talk on taking your business online, and he shared some success stories. So if you haven't seen that, go back and watch that. I love that all of these are being videoed. So I guess we will jump into this, and let's see. We were just talking before about Zoom. If you guys have been on any Zoom calls, you know they sometimes don't always go perfect. So we are going to try this, try the screen share. Hey, there we go. Of course it's not, there we go. So today we are going to be talking about social media strategy for small businesses. And of course, they haven't mowed the yard in like over a week, and today right now is when they are mowing the lawn right outside my window. So if you hear something, they're just mowing the lawn. So it's one of the great things about social media is that in technology is we get to do things from work from home during COVID, but during this time you get to know exactly what's going on in everyone's home. You get to meet the dogs, the kids, and the landscapers, evidently. So we're going to be talking about some strategies for small businesses, and just a little bit about me. Been self-employed for 15 years, have worked in social media and online marketing for the last 10. I actually homeschooled my children and built an online homeschooling website, and am part of the 2-to-1 conference team, which for the last 8 years, I'm part of a team that we put on a social media and blogging conference every year, generally in the Washington, D.C. area, specifically for women business owners. So this is, serving small businesses has been in my blood and been part of my focus here for years. So in 2018, I created Leverage Social so I could just do that full time. So today we are going to talk about the secret to social media. And some of my social media and talking to people in emails, I told you guys that, oh, I am going to tell you the secret of social media, and I'm just going to jump right into it. But you know what? As I'm looking at Triple Dipple's social media, they already know the secret to social media. They've got it down. So anybody know what it is? You're gonna be surprised. It's be social. Everyone wants to know the key to the Facebook algorithm. How do I get people engaged? How do I get to show up in searches? How do I get the attention that I need to get the most out of social media? The key is to be social. You need to ask questions. You need to be relatable. You need to know who that target market is and engage with them. Put material that and content that your people, not just any people, and we'll talk about that in a minute, that your people want to engage with. Wow, that's loud. Can you hear that? All right. So today we are going to talk about the basics of social media, and I think this is where I get back to my where I homeschool my kids. Whenever we are writing something, or writing a story, we talked about the why, who, where, what, and when. Because we're writing a story, we're creating content. When you are creating content for social media, you want to answer those same things. You need to know all of those things, and your content needs to cover all the bases. So I wanted to, right off the bat, instead of telling you all the things that I know that is going to make people follow you on social media, let's go and let's look at things that are going to make people not follow you. Okay? Trying to wait till the lawnmower goes by my window. Oh my goodness. Sorry. So number one, 46% of people said that too many promotional messages makes them unfollow a brand on social media. Literally, he's camped outside my window. He's just doing his job, and oh my goodness, the timing. So what are promotional messages? Promotional messages are those ones that are just salesy. Now, you want to put, when you're having a sale, you want to promote your product, or you want to promote your service, but those aren't always the most social, posts. So too many promotional messages turn people off. When the information is not relevant. Think of, if I am running a business and I'm running a restaurant, and my restaurant is, let's say a pizza place. I am not going to post cat videos. I don't care how funny they are. That information, that's not relevant. I'm not going to put something political. I'm not going to put something that's just has nothing to do with my customers or my pizza, right? So that's going to turn people off. When they tweet too much. If you have a large Twitter following, local businesses around here don't use Twitter a lot, but in some metropolitan areas, Twitter is huge. Especially if you have a national business, Twitter is very large in certain niches and in larger businesses. So if you tweet too much, there's a sweet spot, and we'll talk about that also. If you use slang or jargon that doesn't fit your brand, think of if you think of, we're going to be talking about this as well, but just thinking about how you want the copy and your speech to always be the same, so they know your voice is always the same. If you're too quiet, if you don't post enough, if you post too much, people get turned off. If you don't post enough, people get turned off. And if you don't reply to your customers, people get turned off by that because you don't care. If someone leaves a comment, or if someone sends you a message. Okay. So the why of social media. Sometimes I'm baffled by this, but especially when I talk to business owners that maybe are in an older demographic, and by older I mean older than me, and older, that haven't grown up with social media or really not comfortable with social media. They don't even understand why you need to be on social media. Okay, there was a study done. This was a 2019 data that people spend the average of 2 hours and 22 minutes a day just on social media. And I get from people that, why do I need social media? I check my Facebook once a month. Well, you are an outlier. Most people spend 2 hours and 22 minutes, and that's even taking into consideration those people who don't spend hardly any time on social media. They're the outliers, but they were in this group. So so people want to know why social media. And Harold said it. That's a great thing, that social media is free. You can have paid ads, and I recommend on certain things, put some paid ads out there. And we can talk about that. That's that could be another whole seminar, but it's free. Why not use it? Okay. So social media helps you build community. It helps you build, to draw those right people to you. You're not just advertising your product, because think about it. There could be a million places to go buy a product, but they'll do business with you because they like you. You've built a community, you've built an audience, you built a culture, and to serve people. So you're not only, when you've created a product or service, you're actually serving your people with that. So social media can be an extension of that, because then it's not only serving them with a product, because going back to people get turned off by too many promotional messages. It goes back, there's like the 80-20 rule. So 80% should be non-promotional, where 20% is promotional. So you can serve people by, if you sell, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about a business that was selling running shoes. So don't put every post about a good sale you have on a running shoe, or come buy running shoes. Serve them with some value, like you might put a best running trails in the area, or how to do a couch to 5K, or the best something that serves the community that wants to buy your product, but you don't actually have, right? Does that make sense? And social media not only helps you build community and serve people, it helps you get found. Like, people, when they search Google for something, they're gonna find you, because Google searches social media as well. And 56% of people who make purchases look up the brand online first. Did you know that? And like, when I go, we're a travel hockey family. When we go to a new area, we're always looking for a good place to eat, or a good place just between games to unwind. So we look on Google Maps, but I always go to their Facebook page. And I want to know what the restaurants are around, and I want to know what kind of restaurant that really is, right? I want to see pictures. I want to see the pictures of the insides, of the food, of the people that are there. I want to see the vibe that they're given. Is it a place that I think that I would like or not? So social media helps you get found and will draw people to your business. Okay, the who of social media. If you are marketing to everyone, you are marketing to no one. I say this, every client I ever have, if you are marketing to everyone, you are marketing to no one. This just means if you are out there and you think everyone in the world should buy your product, not everyone in the world is going to buy your product. Seth Godin said it best when he said, everyone is not your customer. Simply, not everyone is going to want to buy what you're selling. So you have to figure out who wants to buy what you're selling. You need to figure out, get all the way down, get the demographic, get their age, get their sex, get their income, get where they live. You want to know everything about these people because you want to target all your content toward those people. You want to know their interests. Are they health nuts? Do they volunteer a lot? Do they vacation a lot? Do they attend concerts? All these different things. Something you don't think it goes with your, often has nothing to do with your product, but if you think about what those interests are and you want to create content to go with those, that you can tie those things together. And habits, where do they go? Where do they shop? Where do they eat? What other local businesses do they frequent? Those are all things that when I sit down with a new client, this is part of the creating a strategy for their social media, because we just don't want to throw a bunch of content up that their people aren't going to care about. So this is very important that we figure out who their ideal client is. I like this quote too. The more you know about your customers, the easier it becomes to create content that caters to their specific needs. And it goes back to people do business with people that they like, not just because they have the best service or product in the world. But if they don't like you or feel drawn to you, if they don't feel that you are catering to their needs and catering to them, they won't do business with you. Okay, the where. Where does your perfect customer hang out online? So we can look at this graph. This is, and if you might miss these, I will have at the end, we will have a link that you can go to and you can download all these slides and get all these graphs and information as well. So Facebook is the largest social media hub. This is our platform. It's pretty much even across the board. You'll hear people say that, oh, it's only for the older demographic, but even the younger demographic at least has a Facebook page. They may not be as active on it, but they have a Facebook page. So pretty much Facebook is, you might not get the engagement, but I always tell people you have to have a Facebook presence because Google searches Facebook. People just search Facebook to find things. So always be on Facebook. Instagram, that younger demographic, that 35 and younger, are on Instagram. So if that is your target market, be on Instagram. There's kind of a growing number of that 35 to 54, but that if your ideal customer is 34 and under, you need to be on Instagram. Pinterest, even across the board, the younger demographics. Snapchat, of course, on those younger demographics. LinkedIn is more, think about your professionals, the 35 to 54, those career building ages. Twitter, the younger demographic, definitely on Twitter. And WhatsApp is for the younger demographic as well. So you just have to figure out who your market is. Like I tell people, if you are looking for professionals, go to LinkedIn. If you are looking for high school and college age kids, go to Snapchat, and now TikTok. TikTok is the new big advertising and connecting place to be on. And I know that Triple Dipple is having some great success with their TikTok videos because you make it on TikTok and then you can put them onto your other social media platforms. So that is, I see a lot of businesses who target that market having some great success. Okay, the what? People always ask me, for some reason, my Google thought I said, does anyone have the Google when you say blank Google and like the assistants come on. Evidently my phone said that and started answering my question. So people are always, the number one question I get from people that come to talk to me about social media is, what do I post? What do I post? Do I just put anything up there just for the sake of posting something today? I tell them, no, don't do the post and pray method. It doesn't work. It's a waste of time. Generally, you might get a fluke and it might work great, but the post and pray method just usually does not work out very well. That means just, oh my gosh, I have to have a post today. Let me just take a picture, or let me just link to something real quick, just because I want to have something on there. I would think quality over quantity here, okay? We'll talk about the right amount of the right quantity here in a little bit, but think quality. Everything you post needs to be through the lens of, well, my ideal customer, will this appeal to them? Think quality, think purpose. Every post should have a purpose. Is this looking to engage my customer? Am I looking to serve my customer? Am I looking to sell to my customer? Am I just looking to connect with them and be real with them and show them I'm a real person? That could be a purpose as well. Stay in your voice. We talked about this before, back in the slide that talked about why people stop following accounts, and they talk about slang and jargon and things that have nothing to do with your brand, or they're off. Stay in your voice. That's why I think it's always important for business owners, especially small business owners, because it's such a personal relationship, to have one person doing the your social media posting, at least the writing the copy, unless you maybe all have the same sense of humor, or you have a couple of different people. You, the business owner, maybe a coworker, have can mimic each other's voice and inflection and the way you put words together, because there's certain or go back. Because when you go and if you're following someone and suddenly their voice changes and then it goes back, it's kind of confusing. And my number one rule of marketing is don't confuse your customer. And there's a couple of businesses in town that I think do a great job of, when it's someone new posting, it'll say, hey, here's so-and-so, here's Marcy, I'm posting today, and it's my day to post. And they do a great job, but it's showing that this is another person posting. And that's also another way to be more personal with your clients or with your customers. Let them know that you're real people. It's a way to connect by using that, by just showing, hey, here's another person who worked here and they're going to share with you today. Stay on brand, same thing. If your brand is that whole feeling that people get when they think of you, when they see you, when they think of your product or service, they have this perception in their mind. It's not just a logo. Your brand isn't your logo. That's your brand identity. So people know, oh, when they see that, oh, that's Triple Dipple, or that's Leverage Social. So they know that. But your brand is your voice. It's everything anybody thinks about you. So stay on brand so that people know when they think of your business, they know exactly, they think this one thing. They don't think of all this craziness. They aren't confused. Does that make sense? And that's what I do a lot of times with people when I sit down with them and we do strategy sessions. The problem is they don't know their brand. They're not consistent. And so we have to go back. And before we even start social media, we do a brand strategy to figure out who they are and how we can portray that to the public better through social media. Okay, so here we're getting into some social media post ideas. If you're looking for ideas and things to post, and not every one of these works for everyone. So, and the idea is sometimes you have to experiment. I was just talking to Harold of Triple Dipple before we came on, and I said I loved his videos. I love those TikTok videos. That's their personality. That's fun. People, you can tell people love them because they have so much engagement. And like you said, it was a fluke, a total fluke. They were just bored and posted something. Sometimes it's okay. So there are no social media emergencies. Sometimes you just have to post something and be an experiment. And if it doesn't work, don't post it again. But if it does, you might be onto something. Okay. So videos. Video is king right now. Videos in Instagram and Facebook get the most shared or get the most attention from the algorithm. So videos are good. Your latest blog post. If you have a blog, your product, of course. Behind the scenes. People love behind the scenes stories. Instagram stories and Facebook stories are a great place to put those behind the scenes. Like if it's a product that you make, or if it's an unboxing, or if it's working on something, or if you're working late, or if you just have an idea that you want to share with your people, stories are great for that. And people love that. It's a great way to engage. Going back to your product, sometimes this doesn't just mean, hi, I'm selling hair clips. It's, hey, here's 7 things I can do with my hair clip. You know, I can, hold papers together. I can do my hair. I can hold flowers together. It could be all like, look what I just figured out. Just something, hey, I found this. It goes great with this that someone else in town is selling. So there's ways to highlight your product that aren't really selling. That's just like, hey, this is, I see some restaurants in town that are, we have dessert. And this would be great for like Triple Dipple. I see they do this a lot. They highlight other businesses in town that they really like. I probably have this on here, but they do a good job at that. So it's highlighting similar businesses or businesses that aren't direct competition, and you can highlight the competition too. And it all comes back to you, right? All good. So poll your audience. Sometimes it's a poll on, maybe what should be our next flavor. And here I'm going to put you a list of flavors. What should we do next? Or did you like this? Do you not like this? And it's a way to get engagement, because Facebook and Instagram reward being social, right? So engagement is social. So every time somebody takes place in a poll, Facebook and Instagram see that as, oh, they're creating engagement. So we're going to boost this post, and we're going to boost the following post. There's some, that's a whole other thing. But yes, more engagement is what you want. User-generated content. So if you have this is great on Instagram. If you have if you use a hashtag, or if you ask people to tag you, then they tag you, you can go through and you can find those easily, and then you can repost it in a post or story. And so they've already created content for you, and they're advertising for you. And it's a great way to create community and create those loyal followers and those loyal customers by saying, hey, I love what you're doing. Thanks for giving us a shout out. And you give them a shout out. People love attention. So user-generated content is great. Testimonials. If you especially have a service-based business, I like to take clients' testimonials and make a little graphic and post those graphics every once in a while as testimonials. I think those are really great. Or somebody called in and really liked, or emailed you or messaged you about something great at your establishment. Put that as a testimonial. You don't always have to have their name if they don't want their name, or just put their first name. But those are great things, because it's social proof, and it is, if they see other people loving your product, they will want to love it also. Relevant quotes. I put quotes, social media quotes all the time from other thought leaders in my genre, right? So they'll have, like I put some quotes in here earlier, because they were relevant, and those were things that my readers, that my audience could benefit from. They can learn from those quotes. So, so if you can find some quotes that go with your business and that you would appeal to your clients, then by all means, put those. Links to good articles that your clients will like. Giveaways are always big as well. You could give away a gift certificate, you give away a product, you could give away something from another business. Sometimes there was I've seen here in town actually some maybe 7 to 8 businesses going together and doing one great big giveaway where they all shared it and they all promoted each other. So that's a great way to get community involvement, to show that you support the local community and that you care about your people, and you get together and they get giveaways. So that's a great way to generate engagement. All right. So we had all the things that we talked about, and we talked about the who, what, when, where, why, what, right? So when we're bringing it all together now and we're creating our plan, I like to use a calendar or spreadsheet. I like to plan ahead, right? So I'm pretty old school. I like to have I have a paper calendar that I can't reach right now, and I'll just put on the paper calendar and on my planner, I just put the topic of what I want for each day, right? And then I'll use a spreadsheet, maybe. You can use a spreadsheet, or I use planning software or scheduling software. I think that's here next. I create theme days, okay? So on my calendar, I like, especially for someone who's just starting out, or to make it easy for everyone, create a theme day. Create like what type of post you're gonna put on Monday. Maybe Monday is a testimonial days, Tuesday is a product promotion day, Wednesday is a community involvement day, Thursday is a tip about something related to your business. So every day is a theme day. Then I use my calendar spreadsheet to figure out those days, and if there's something special, the calendar spreadsheet especially is helpful when there is an event coming up in town, or that maybe a special promotion or something going on that I really want to promote. I put it on the calendar to make sure that it gets done so I don't forget it. Then I use a scheduler. You can use Buffer, or what I've been using here lately, Facebook Creator Studio. I used Buffer for years, but now you can actually schedule Facebook and Instagram posts right through Facebook Creator Studio. So it makes it very easy, and you can actually go back in there and look at your insights as well. Take a drink. Talking too fast, sorry. And that just makes it so I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't have to stop and make a post. I like to schedule posts like a week out even. And so I'll go through and I'll just try to put all the posts in for the week, especially for Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Now on LinkedIn, I might go in and put something. I tend to have an idea of what I want to put on LinkedIn, but then I want to expand on that idea. And I write articles sometimes on LinkedIn because I have so much to say about a certain subject, and you can do that. LinkedIn is built for that. And since I'm looking for business owners and I'm serving business owners, that's what my target market is a lot of the time. But just scheduling it out saves you a lot of time. And posting at the right time and the right frequency. And we'll talk about that in a minute too, but you can look through your insights and your analytics across all your, as long as you are set up as a business page, you can look at your analytics and you can tell when your people are online, and that's when you want to be posting. Okay. So I would recommend, this is right now, these change. They just do, because the Facebook algorithm change, Instagram algorithm. So right now, Facebook 1 to 2 times a day seems to be the sweet spot. Instagram 1 time a day. Don't flood your feed. If you have a ton of pictures you want to put up, make a little gallery inside of the Instagram that you can put multiple pictures. Do that in one post. Don't do, oh, I'm going to do 10 different posts and flood somebody's feed. Nobody likes that. That's how you get unfollowed. Or put them in your stories, which are great. They get deleted after 24 hours, but you can go in there if you want to save them, and you can save them as a highlight in your Instagram page, and then they stay forever. Twitter, you can tweet 15 to 30 times a day because the average lifespan of a tweet is like 20 minutes. It's gone. You know how many in your feed, people they follow so many people, it's gone, it's out of sight, out of mind. People are not going to search like you do Facebook. You scroll through all the posts that people during the day or Instagram. People don't use Twitter like that. So you can post 15 to 30 times a day, and it doesn't, you're not flooding the stream because no one will see what you posted before. And you'll have a better chance of actually hitting those people when you, or your target audience, when you post that many times. Pinterest, up to 20 times a day. If you have a business that is very, like you have, and you do a blog and you have a lot of something that is decor, or there's lots of different genres that do very well on Pinterest. Instagram, Facebook stories, it kind of depends. Like some people I knew do 20 a day, but they're talking the whole time. They've got this long, because stories only last like 15 seconds. So they might talk for 10 minutes, but you know, it's broken up in all those sections. But if they're interesting, people are still watching them. So I haven't really seen any data yet on what seems to be the sweet spot of the frequency of like how many times a day you should post Instagram stories and Facebook. But I have been looking for that because clients ask and I don't want them to put too much or too little out. Okay. So this part I'm going to go through very quickly. I added this, I gave this presentation before to a group of business owners, and which we did this in like an hour and a half, much longer session. And I just wanted to let you know that it's important to check your stats weekly and monthly. This tells you, if you go back and check at your stats, that'll show you what posts are working and what aren't. We talked about before all the different types of social media posts that you can have. Go back and look at what you've done in the past, and if there's a certain type of post that's not getting engagement and people aren't paying attention, stop doing that and use something else. If you see something that's really working, do more of that. Okay, so your insights and your analytics will really help you tune in on that. And you can also look then, and it will tell you when your tribe is online. So you don't want to be posting in the middle of the night when no one's online. So you want to post, unless you have a night owl kind of people, you can find out in your stats when your people are online, and then you can post accordingly. So these are just some stats, and I'm going to go through. These are on the Facebook stats. Now, if you go, okay. If you go and you look over on the right side, there is the engagement rate. Okay, so if you click that little drop down button, it'll show you your engagement rate. The average engagement on Facebook is only like 0.6%. It's ridiculous. So if you're doing I tell people, if you're doing like 6 to 10%, you're doing fantastic. So when I look at people's, I have a client right now who is averaging 25%, which is phenomenal. So I'm like, do more of what you're doing, because we changed things around a little bit, and we over the last 2 years have tweaked a lot of things, and so it is possible, but you have to really know your audience, and you have to create content that is engaging with them. So the engagement is what you're looking for. All right, so I'm going to share with you a few tools to schedule posts. We talked about this before. Buffer is a good one. You can get the free version unless you have a lot of accounts. Then you can upgrade, and it's pretty cost effective. Facebook Creator Studio is actually free. To do your social media pics and graphics, I like PicMonkey and Canva. They're both laptop and mobile versions. So on PicMonkey, you can go in and you can crop, and you can edit, and you can resize things that I think they're, and do a lot of it's like a I call it the dummies Photoshop. I can't use Photoshop. I'm not a graphic artist, but PicMonkey, I can use PicMonkey. Canva is great. I take some of the images I make in PicMonkey, and then Canva has a lot of great templates, and they have the, you can go in there, so you have to have the right size image for all your social media. Every social media platform has different sizes that are optimal. If you go into Canva and PicMonkey, they have templates that are already that size. So you can grab a template, put your image on there to make sure that your image is the right size for your platform. Lumi, or Lumai, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's new and I've been playing with. It has all kinds of really fun filters. And so I've been playing with that here lately. Another one, I have to look at my phone, I think it's Airbrush, is a great one for if you're doing selfies. If you have, put it on there? No, it didn't. It has some great filters as well. So before I get to the questions, if you have any questions, if you go to leverageyoursocial.com/small-business, you can download this slideshow and you can look at the stats and the stat slides and all that. And it also gives you a great offer to work with me. For those of you who want more, or this was like drinking out of a fire hydrant and you're like, I'm gonna need some one-on-one, I'm giving a great offer there. And also I'm giving a freebie to you. When people have me work on their social media accounts, the first thing I do is either set up a new account for them, or I go back and I optimize the accounts they have, and I have a checklist that goes through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and goes step by step all the little things that have to be done and done properly so that you can have an optimized social media account. So I'm giving you that checklist so you can walk through it yourself to make sure that your pages are optimized and on brand. So that's all available for you at that address, and we can link to that later too. So if there are any questions, I would love to answer some. Oh, thank you, Harold. I just saw that. Okay, good. God, I was so afraid that the Harold said the mower is louder than for you than it is for us, and all I hear is the occasional warble. Thank you. Yay, because I'm so embarrassed. You got the link to the slides. Oh. All right, do we have any other questions, Catherine?
I don't see any up right now, but if anyone is on Facebook or on Zoom and would like to drop a question in the chat or in the Q&A, please feel free. Meanwhile,
I know that was a lot of information, but I wanted to cover the bases, and then if you had any more questions, we can dive in that deeper. And you can always email me, marcy@leverageyoursocial.com as well.
So while we wait and see if there are other questions that come in, do you have tips for figuring out what demographics and interests and habits your clients have?
You can actually go into the social media. If you go in, Facebook has some insights, and so does Instagram. So if you already built kind of a following and you're not really sure, you can go in there and they will give you your the age, where they live. You can even drill down into what other pages your there might be a group of types of pages and other businesses that that your clients like already. So that's a good way. You can just do a poll of your people, both online, or if you have an email. Email marketing is also really big. I help people do email marketing and set those lists up as well. Sometimes we just ask, hey, looking for some demographic, if you'd like to, it will be private. So those are good ways. And sometimes you just know, especially if you have a business where people like a storefront, people coming in all the time, you get an idea from that, what they are. But if you have an online business, it's a little trickier, but you can figure it out.
Okay, thanks. And we do have a question here. Can you go over the possible theme days again?
Oh, yeah. So you might have, depending on, so I just finished a plan for an HVAC company. And so we had he had no idea. So we created some graphics, and so every day, so he has like Mondays is ask your HVAC. I can't remember what we put exactly, but it's basically ask a question day. So we started out with some questions that that people had sent to him or called him with. And so we just, Monday is question day. So we made a graphic, we put the question in it, and then he answered it in the copy. So it could be ask a question day. It could be a testimonial day. You might have a link to something like on Leverage Social. I'll put links to something someone else wrote, but I think it's very applicable. It might be to something for some new stats or something that I know that my clients, it goes along with the services that I provide, but something additional that they can use that they don't necessarily want to. It wouldn't do them any good to schedule a session with me when all they need is this one little tip, or and then you can do like sponsor some other, or talk about some other businesses in town that you do business with. So yeah, so there's lots of different themes. Think of it in that way. Some things could be a product day, could be spotlight employee day. It could be, I'm trying to think now. The lawnmowers are back out there. They're bugging me. Does that help, Erin? I hope so. So think about how they apply to your business, and then it's kind of easy to have themes then when you just sit down and start thinking about all the different aspects of your business. You might, like, for someone like me, I might have a Facebook tip day, I might have an Instagram tip day, I might have a LinkedIn tip day. So if that helps.
Thank you. We have another question here. For someone starting on social media, do you recommend a Facebook ad campaign to gain followers? And if so, what topics would you recommend in the ads?
That's a great one. Okay, so yeah, they're a great way to get started, just to get that exposure and just to get some people interested in, like, just brand awareness. So what I always recommend is doing an A/B campaign, is making a couple different ads and testing it for a week or so and seeing which one does the best. You can do just your logo. You can do one with, sometimes we do one, here's the business logo, or here's the picture of someone at your business, or here's something with your product. So it just depends on what your business is. You can always do video. Video really works great for ads. You do a little short video, just introducing yourself, explaining your business a little bit. So yeah, depending on your business, but I would recommend that, throwing a little money on that, and just to get the ball rolling. But be creative. Think about who you're serving and what kind of images they would like, and what kind of messaging they would want to hear. I would make it more about, always make your messaging more about the customer and how you're going to serve them than, I make the best apple pie in town. Okay, great. Maybe you do, but that doesn't always sell people. Why do they want your apple pie? What's great about your apple pie? What kind of apples? Where do you get your apples? Is it your grandmother's recipe? Is it organic? Is there something special about why you like them? Make it a story that's going to draw people in, not just. So think about your copy, think about your image, and think about who your audience is. So hope that helps. There's a lot that goes into it. But if you need help with that, you can always contact me.
Thanks so much. You mentioned developing a voice for your social media posts. Do you have tips as far as developing that voice beyond just keeping it consistent?
Yeah, I think, and I can use me as an example. I screwed up at the very beginning. I did not know. I worked mainly with large companies and publishers, and I designed social media campaigns and content marketing campaigns for national companies. and they would come to me. I didn't have to, my website brought them in, and my reputation brought them in. So when I was in the homeschool market. So I was known for homeschool science, right? So, and I did a lot of mostly all educational things. Well, then when I switched to small businesses and leverage social, I got a lot of businesses just from networking. So people knew me, but then I was like, oh, I don't know who I want leverage social to market to, right? So I made the voice too, and it still is, it's a little stuffy. And when people meet me, they're like, you're not stuffy at all. I'm like, I know, but I'm a scientist. That's my background. When I started my career, I was a scientist. I ran research labs. So I'm very logical, that's why I love all the stats and statistics and all the science behind social media. It's a whole nother research project for me. So I'm just bringing myself over, trying to be more real. So I'm doing more stories and more just kind of fun posts that are still about my customers, about my clients. But so I am just finding my voice and who my clients really are, and this new working with small businesses in the COVID era, because networking doesn't really work because we're all stuck inside. So it kind of is difficult, but I think that using stories and on Facebook and Instagram is really helpful right now, because people get to know you and you can find out if people are engaging with that, and just make sure that your voice and your if you're like Triple Dipple is a great example. They look like they're having so much fun there, and every post they post is fun. Their photography is amazing, and the colors, and then when they do the videos, so you know what their voice is. They're all about having fun, and they're all about great product. So whatever makes you special, and whatever that vibe with people, if they think about when you have a storefront, or if you don't have a storefront, what would your storefront look like? What would your business look like? And how would people feel when they walked in? Try to have that same feel online through your visuals and through your copy, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm trying to do with social media. So that when they meet, they're like, oh, you're not stuffy. No, I'm not very stuffy. So trying to get that. Sometimes it's very difficult when you work in a service industry and service-based business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much for your insights today. We're coming up to the end of the hour, but do you have any parting thoughts to share with us before we close?
Yeah, I think social media, like Harold made a great point that it's free, and most people are on social media and they want to engage with you, so you might as well just make the most of it. But don't let it ruin your life. Just sit down, have a plan, and schedule it out, and get some help to do that. It doesn't have to be you. You could hire someone internally to do those. If there's somebody on, if you have an employee or a child that is really a lot better on social media than you are, by all means, put it on them. But just make sure that they're following some guidelines. And I'm always available to help if you need help with setting anything up, or just best practices. So sometimes that's hard to figure out sometimes when you're just starting.
All right, well, thank you very much. And next week, for our next session in this series, we are actually going to be kind of jumping off of this. So you gave us a really good base for next week's session, which is Marketing for Small Businesses with Francie Hinrichsen of Simply Integrated LLC. And she's going to be sharing ways to streamline your digital marketing. You can find the link to attend this session at chilipld.org or in the event on Chillicothe Public Library's Facebook page. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. When I close this event, those of you attending through Zoom will be prompted to fill out a survey. If you'd like to enter to win a prize, please fill out and submit the survey, and making sure to include your name and contact information. Well, thank you, folks. Have a good afternoon and take care.